And I really think so. It's kind of a make you feel good episode today. Sometimes we have to make the right decisions, even though it's rough. Just remember the end goal and keep going at it.
Welcome to the American Dream Builder and Investor Podcast, where our vision is to inspire busy professionals, especially first and second generation immigrants and Americans, to explore the state of the American dream in 2022 and beyond. That is the Trinity of freedom: time, financial, and geography freedom. I'm your host, Micy Liu, and I have achieved financial independence, and I'm helping many others to do the same. I started out with $5,000 and have really built wealth for my family along the process. Now I'm on a mission to help hundreds of thousands of people like me to do the same.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of the American Dream Builder and Investor Podcast. I'm your host, Micy Liu. As you know, this is 2023, and looking back at late 2022, I wanted to share with you some of the lessons I've learned last year, and specifically on one lesson. It was about never compromise on your integrity and also your customers. So what happened was at the end of 2022, I was working on a mobile home park investment opportunity, and I was working on it through a fund model, which I've done in the past, but I decided to work through a new lawyer this time to complete my fund paperwork. And unfortunately, the fund paperwork was taking a long time, and I got quite a few investors interested in this deal, and we were ready to go and to fund and get them into this high cash flowing opportunity that can really help them get closer to the freedom and their early retirement goals. What happened was the fund paperwork was not really where I wanted it to be, because we had some language in there that wouldn't allow me to take certain fees. And if I don't take certain fees, the fund wouldn't actually be able to survive on its own. If I do take it, it may not look good to SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, even though maybe some people would have done it because they may think the SEC may not find out. But I had to make an executive decision and decide whether I want to continue with the opportunity or tell my investors that I can't keep on going. They have to find another way. So throughout this process, I had some back and forth. Eventually, I made a decision based on two things: protecting my partners and my investors, because I did make a commitment to the mobile home park partner I was working with and bring certain amount of funds to them so they can close on their properties in time. I also made a commitment to my passive investors about delivering them good returns in a risk-adjusted way. I just didn't feel like either losing money for the next 10 years on this deal was a good way to serve my customers, or putting my customers in a potential legal risk because I'm not following potentially SEC guidelines. So what I decided to do was actually to send my investors directly to work with my partners so they can get on this awesome opportunity. Meanwhile, I'm contributing to my partners' closing as well. So throughout this experience, what I really learned that is it's really important to keep your head up and look at the big picture.
This podcast is sponsored by Life Mission Capital, founded by me, Micy Liu, where my life mission is to help busy professionals invest well so they can focus on what matters. All my life, I was taught to study and work hard for my freedom, until one day I realized that unless I let my money work hard for me, I will always be trading my most precious resource, time, for freedom. Since then, we have also been helping our investors passively diversify into more than 1,000 units of recession and inflation-resistant alternative investments, such as multifamily, mobile home parks, short-term rentals, and more. Learn more with our free ebooks at lifemissioncapital.com.
Even though I didn't participate in this opportunity, I believe my relationships with some of my investors and trust strengthened in this opportunity because they could see that I was really thinking in their shoes. It wasn't their $50,000 or $100,000 I was trying to put into a deal that may or may not make sense to them. It was really their interest I was putting first, and also then a partner's interest as well. So I believe it's important to do the right thing, even though sometimes things don't come together. I think that was one of the biggest lessons I learned from paying quite a few $1,000s of legal fees and time spent that actually didn't end up contributing to my 2022 performance goals. But I'm really happy that I did learn a lesson with just $7,000-8,000 of fees versus hundreds of thousands of dollars that I may be putting at risks with investors' capital. So I'm sharing this with you because in your journey to freedom, you may have setbacks as well. But just remember the big goals, who you're trying to serve, your 7 layers of why that I keep mentioning to you, understanding what your big goals are and why it's important. Ask that 7 times. So for me, my biggest goal, I know it may sound cheesy to some people, is to really build God's kingdom in the ways that leveraging my capabilities to the maximum. And I'm slowly figuring out each day what that may look like. So I have to figure out not just when I'll get there, but how I will get there. So in your freedom goals, I encourage you to think about that too. Not just what you'll have when you get there, but also how you will get there. I think that will also really set yourself apart from those around you and really make a difference in how you feel each day. And people often say it's not the destination, but the journey. And I really think so. It's kind of a make you feel good episode today. And I just want to share this lesson I had with you. And hopefully you take it away that sometimes we have to make the right decisions, even though it's rough. Just remember the end goal and keep going at it. Think long term with your investment decisions. It's okay if you got set back a little bit right now, but I know you'll make it. Same to me. I got set back a little bit late last year, but 2023 will be a great year. So looking forward to growing together in your professional, personal, spiritual, and also investment journey. So keep on going and looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the American Dream Builder and Investor podcast.